Welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be unboxing and reviewing this Sonic the Hedgehog 3 Shadow set. This set includes a 5-inch figure of Shadow the Hedgehog and also his motorcycle. Let's take a look at it. Now here is what the front of the box looks like. Through it you can see your figure of Shadow and his motorcycle, and also along the side you've got 3 Sonic characters, which are Sonic, Tails and Knuckles. On the back it shows a picture of him, and it also says he has 13 points of articulation. Here are some of the other figures that you can get. You can get Sonic, Tails, Shadow and Dr. Robotnik. All of these other figures are also 5 inches tall, so if you get all of the other figures they can fit perfectly with your Shadow figure that comes in this set. But there are a few differences between this Shadow figure and the one that is shown on the back of the box with the other characters. The Shadow figure shown on the back of the box and also all the other Sonic characters have got glass eyes. Now I do think that the glass eyes do look a little bit creepy, so I do prefer the eyes that Shadow has in this set, but it's all just down to your preference whether you like the glass eyes or these eyes that he has here. You can see that this Shadow figure has been secured into the box by these ties and also these things that are covering his shoes. On the side of the box it shows a picture of Shadow and then this writing that says Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now that we've had a look at the box, let's open it. Now I did find it quite difficult to get Shadow out of this box. I understand that they need to keep him nice and secure in the box to be on shelves in stores, but I do think that they did make it harder than it needed to be to get him out of the box. There were quite a few elastic bands and ties that were holding him into there. Now that both our figure and his bike are out of the box, let's have a look at this. Okay, so first we're going to be taking a look at this figure. Now this figure does have 13 points of articulation like it said on the box. He can move his head. His shoulders also have this joint in them, a ball joint. Also his hands, well his wrists, you can spin them around. He also has shoulder, his shoulders can move. And his legs, his knees. And also he can also move his feet. Now let's test if this figure can stand up by itself. As you can see, this figure can stand up by itself, which is pretty good, because if people want to display the figure, they're going to need him to stand up by himself. Well, usually. But if you can't get him to stand up, he does also have these little, I don't know what they're called, but they're basically holes to connect him onto a set or onto his bike. So if you can't stand him up for whatever reason, you can also connect him onto some sort of set or something. And like with most JAKKS Pacific Sonic stuff, I do like the design. The design is pretty accurate to how he is. Well, since we haven't seen the movie yet from the trailer, and also some other images that we've got to see, this is accurate to how he looks, which is pretty good. Here is the design of his spikes on the back. And he does also have this like texture to show like his quills, which is very nice. He also has this, it's kind of like a frown. Well, it looks kind of like he's angry actually, which is a pretty thing for Shadow. And his shoes are also very nice. On the bottom of them, you saw earlier, they look like this. And also, every detail that I can think of that is pretty important is on here, so there's nothing that's missed out that people would notice. Okay, so here is Shadow's bike. Now this bike, both wheels can move on it, and also Shadow can fit on it, which I'll be able to show you later. This bike does have details. It has this orange right here, and also here. And then he also has these where he can rest his feet on. Here is the front of the bike. It has this kind of clear plastic. And then on the other side, it's the same as the other one. I just took a closer look at the bike so we can see if there's any more details, such as right here, you can see there's some indentation for details. And also you can see some of the insides of this motorbike. On here, there's also quite a bit of detail. Hopefully the camera picks that up. And on the other side, there's also a bit of detail here, but there's not as much on the other side. Well, not as much on this side than that side. This bike does also have a kickstand, so that if you need to stand the bike up, it is able to do that. And I would also say that both Shadow and the bike do feel good quality. They do not feel like flimsy. The bike feels good quality, and Shadow does actually feel pretty heavy for what he is. Next thing, I'm going to show you how easy is it to get Shadow on the bike. So once again, I talked about these earlier, but these things on the bottom of his shoes, and those connect his feet to here so that he can get onto the bike. Let me just put him on the bike and I'll be back on the camera in a minute. I have connected both of his feet onto the bike, and it will help him stay securely onto the bike. And then you can also connect his hands to here. Here is Shadow on the bike. Now he can stay on here securely, you can move him around a lot. And also the kickstands can hold him up while he's on the bike. So I think that he looks pretty cool like this, just sitting on this bike. Now that's it for today's review. I don't have anything else to say about this. I am pretty happy with this set. I think that both the figure and the bike are pretty good quality and their design is nice. So overall I would recommend this set if you're a Sonic fan.